All right, let's keep on rolling with this. He's appreciating art. Jim Lee's Death Blow, released in May of '93. Even though his signature says '92. The reason why I wanted to cover this, though, is Jim Lee stepped outside of his style for a little bit. He wanted to do something that was, he admitted this. It was something he wanted to do. It was pretty much like he wanted to do his own version of like a Frank Miller Sin City style of book. And if you follow Jim Lee, you'll notice that this book and the series is much different from his work on like Wildcats at the time, or even X-Men when he was drawing X-Men. Plus, on the back of it, there was a preview for, actually it was a dual comic book. There was Death Blow. First half of the comic was Death Blow, and the second half was Cybernary. I thought that was kind of interesting, because even though I didn't really follow this series, I've been commissioned to do a picture of Cybernary. So I thought it kind of fit. So anyway, let's jump into here. Right off the bat, you can see just how different of a style that Jim was using for this book. And he drew very heavily off of Frank Miller's Sin City. Just a lot of gray tones, black. I love the use of the light that they would just throw in here with all the cracks and creases. I'm pretty sure Jim, he drew and inked all of this. This was all Jim except for the colors. Death Blow was a really cool Image character that he was kind of like Image's Punisher, so to speak. But again, one thing you're going to notice with this art, he really went out of the way to highlight a lot of the whites, the red, the way that the use of the blood in these two pages, just really, it stands out. It makes an impact, I just love how you have like these, again, very Sin City-like, not a lot of detailed backgrounds, more just, shapes. You have the gray tone color coming right out of the white, shadowed. At the time when he first started doing this, I actually didn't like it. I was a huge fan of Jim Lee. And this was a style that was just like, I was kind of iffy on, to be honest with you. But looking back, you really appreciate what it is that he was trying to do and what it is that he accomplished. There's an advertisement for Jay Lee, who was a really very unique artist in his own right in the 90s. He has kind of a slightly different style now, but his very edgy, dark style in the 90s that was very awesome. It's just a cool shot of Death Blow. Kind of living with the sins that he had to deal with. I love how Jim Lee did a lot of these cracks in his faces, or at least Death Blow's face in this. Just kind of really showing, the troubled aspect of this character, how weathered he was. This page is very, very much a Sin City style. You can almost see a character like Marv being in this scene. But just again, just not a lot of hyper detail, a lot more shapes than anything, kind of putting the composition of this together. This is a really cool shot. It takes a lot of skill and imagination to go into something like this. Things look more simple, but honestly, to draw things simple and have them look so dynamic is a very hard thing to do. Try it, and just see what happens. I've tried to do things like this myself, and it just looks weird. But if you know how to do it the right way, he comes out looking really cool. I'd say it's probably the most detailed page you're going to see in this style of book. He put a lot of work into that church.
A lot of detail.
Jim Lee was always really good at drawing, and still is. I like the Gothic style of buildings. This is probably not a style you'd want to do as your main style, but to experiment and break away and do something new and different, this is just really cool. If you can master doing something like this, where you know how to use the whites for your outlines and silhouettes. So you're contrasting using white as silhouette instead of black as silhouette. But it's a very stylized way of drawing, so you really got to know what you're doing. That's it. You get a Cybernary, but basically this was about Jim Lee's Deathblow. It'll be kind of a short video. Check it out. You can find these. They a ton of different covers of this. I think there was like a all black cover. There might have been a regular cover with more of a gray tone. There was this cover that was red. I've got most of them. I just happened to grab this one for this, so that's what we went with. But Jim Lee's Deathblow, May 1993, Image Comics. Definitely the entire series, or at least the run that he did, was very fun. And he used an awesome, unique, stylized style for this book. It's definitely, it's definitely something cool to look into and kind of study. It gives you ideas for panel layouts and different ways to set up your art. So, all right, short video. Thanks for checking out. Talk to you later.